Hey, Spiritual Girls in a Material World with Kelly Sullivan Walden and Nancy T starts now.
Hello, everybody. We are the Spiritual Girls in a Material World. We like to celebrate the bling and the ka-ching and the Christmas and the New Year's and the holiday and everything for real. And so today, myself, Nancy T, and Kelly Sullivan Walden are going to talk about the resolution revolution. And what we're trying to say is, yeah, every year, people come up with, I got to change this. I want to do this. I want to do that. Let's face it. We're all trying to lose that 15 pounds. But how long does that last? Until somebody makes those really good cookies and then it's done. So a lot of times resolutions don't get followed through with, but there are things that we do that rock and they should stay in our lives. So Kelly, if I were to ask you, hey man, what don't you want to change? What would you like to keep the same? Realizing that life is an ever-changing evolution, all that kind of stuff, but still, what you can control, what would you say?
Well, this isn't exactly answering your question, but it's along those lines. So
why would you?
This is like an intention this is something that I stumbled upon one New Year's, and it was really awesome. I first made my list of like all the things I wanted to do that year. And then basically like my whole bucket list of all the countries I want to travel to, all the things I want to do, all of that. And it was like, okay, that felt good to kind of dump that, to get that out and to have that out there. Then what I did that I think is pretty brilliant, if I do say so myself.
And what? Go ahead.
I made a reverse bucket list. I made a bucket list of all the things that I have already done that I never put on a bucket list because I didn't even know I was just living, but the things that deserve to be on a bucket list that I had already done. So jumping off of a roof in Mexico into a nightclub. Woo, that was something. Going to Guatemala and building houses, doing like I made a list of the cool things that I had already done. And I went all the way back in time as I went in and out of order, but I came up with a pretty chunky list of cool things. And I'm like, I've already done this. I felt really good about myself. And it made me still feel excited about the things I wanted to do, but it gave me, it was like I was creating from a full place. As opposed to, wow, I'm pretty empty, I'm pretty boring, my life kind of sucks, and here's a list of what would have it not suck, which sucks that it just sucks.
Yes, to create a whole list of things that I wish I had or I wish I could be, but then a lot of times it doesn't happen is a suck fest.
It's a suck fest, and it literally like sucks energy. But I found that doing it that way, where I was able, and I don't know what order, if people want to do this themselves, what the best order is to do it. Like the list of all the things you haven't done yet, you probably already know that. It's probably right at the top of your mind, tip of your tongue. So get all of that out. Why not? Because it's there. But then go through and make the list of all the things that you've already done. And even the simple things, even like the very subtle things, like thinking to call somebody at a random moment or sending somebody a text and finding out later that that really meant something to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be scaling a mountain or, changing a law in Congress. It's just like the things that feel like magical. So I think I'm going to try that again because I don't know where I put that list, and otherwise I just read it again. This year I'll probably make that list and put it somewhere that I can read it on a semi-regular basis or whenever I get down on myself. I don't know. What about you? What are you going to, what's going to be your revolutionary thing that you're going to do?
Well, I think there are some things I don't want to change, and I would hold on to those things, and things like I'm kind of clumsy. And that's not the part that I don't want to change, but that's probably going to be that way. And I'm just in a way that I spill a lot, and drop a lot. And sometimes I drop and spill at the same time. So, hey.
That's another thing we have in common. My nickname used to be Spill It, and my other nickname was Drop It.
And I used to be called Trip It because I would trip too. So this is why we hang out. Okay. So, but the thing about it is when I do that, I just laugh. I just kind of go, oh gosh, here we go. Or can you, again, I can't believe. And I like that about myself. I like that I don't get mad and start cursing and whatever. I find it amusing. It's, if you can't win them, what is it? Can't beat it, join them or whatever. But I just can't. It's like, sometimes I'm clumsy. Sometimes
You
I
want
get.
to keep your sense of humor about the things that would otherwise have you go, oh my God. I mean, I think I'm really good at saying Mazel Tov if like something breaks, because isn't that like you're breaking, like it's good luck. Except my favorite teacup, when it broke, I was like, yeah. I literally called Joey, who made it for me, and she's like, are you okay? Is this a 911? I'm like, yeah, it's a 911.
It is.
I'm having a teacup 911. And she's like, I'll make you another one. I'll make you another one.
Did she make it?
Kind of. Well, she did. It wasn't the same.
No, it'll never be the same. Oh God.
I was so attached. But I think it's a really good practice to laugh at the things that break, fall apart, the glitches, the boo-boos, and what do they call? Oh, Bethany from the Bethany Frankel called all of that flossom.
Flossom, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'd want to hang on to. Another thing is, and it's sort of a new thing, but I like it. And it's where if I'm really enjoying something, just like naming it right then. So if somebody says something funny, it's like, I love you, that was hilarious. Thank you so much. You're wonderful, like just telling people around me, because I'm a love bug, that's my thing. I give love, I get love. I see somebody and someone's doing
answer that goes with that too.
They're really I give love.
Love. When you go out at home, practice this yourself.
I give love. I get love.
And all the dogs in the neighborhood go. I don't know why I did that with you.
It's sort of a private joke, but not so much anymore. Now you get it.
It's my inner Mariah Carey going wild.
That really is my thing. Is I do tend to give love to people so much and enjoy them and celebrate them and just embrace them. You do this too, and so what happens is they give it back. They do.
Mm-hmm.
I just met a lady the other day who I just adored, and I don't know if I said her, if I was just beaming it or whatever, but I saw her husband a few days later and I said, I love your wife. I just love her. She's so much fun. She's wonderful.
Wow.
I just love your wife. And he said, she said she really loved you. And I said, that was like the first time I've talked to her. He goes, this is literally what she said to me, is that's the first time she talked to you. So it was happening. So that I give love, I get love. Yeah, I want to keep that. I wouldn't want to get rid of that. Okay. So, anyway. Hello. So, Kelly, do you have things like that, or am I just crazy?
You're just crazy. That's it. That's all there is to it.
And I don't mind. So
you're a good company. I think one of the things that has been a theme, and it's not just a New Year's theme, it's an everything theme, is I'm always wanting to live my life, not necessarily as if it were the last day, although it's kind of like that. It's like in that awareness that I always get when I think about my death experience, and like, wow, the nearness of like the kind of the fragileness of life, and not wanting to miss anything, and not wanting to, like you were saying, miss an opportunity to say, I love you. And I love you, by the way, Nancy Telthero.
Thank you. I love you too.
We love you, whoever's watching.
We do.
Oh
God.
Yes, we do. Yeah. But wanting to, like, okay, our Dana and my dear friend just passed away a couple months ago, Skip. And although there's so much that's sad about it, what was really beautiful, we got to be with him the day before he passed away. And Priya's making a little noise. So the really cool thing was getting to be with him the day before he died. It seemed like, he was blown away, and he was very, very lucid. He was blown away at the love that was coming in it, being showered by him. He said that people that were calling, sending cards and flowers and showing up, he was like, I could see that his mind was blown. It's like he was having a really cool acid trip or something. Like, can you believe it? It was like his only job at that moment became, how much of this love can I be present to before I pass? Because who knows what it will be like on the other side exactly. And it seemed like, it's like everything else stopped. All of the doing, all of the projects, all of those things. And it's like his full-time job was to recognize and receive the love. And I felt like I was in the presence of Jesus when we were with him. And Skip was no Jesus in his waking life. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a sweetheart, and we loved him, and he's, funny and talented and great, but a stress case, always thinking he should have been 10 steps further ahead of where he was. And there's always like kind of this frenetic energy of like bada bing, bada boom, and moving and shaking and there was joy and fun and creativity in the midst of that, but you'd never call it like being with Jesus. But that last day I felt like he was, and I really am allowing that to imprint me, and thinking about what a miracle to get to have that, like the Mike and the Mechanics song, In the Living Years. Love that song. Like to be able to have those moments in the living years while we're here, while we're alive, while we can say I love you, while we can receive it, and it just makes me want to have that, not just when I exit this planet, but I think it's great if we can have it anytime, whether we have it only as a baby or when we're on our way out, or as many polka dotted moments in between. That's kind of what I want. That's kind of the theme that's always there, to wake up and to really be here while I'm here. And that's a challenge, because in life, there's so many things to do. There's the first enlightenment, then the laundry and the dishes and the sweeping and the taking the dogs out and getting the column in on time and the making the bed and to stay awake and lucid and present and in awe. And that's my goal.
Oh, that's sweet. It's a very sweet goal, obviously, but just the story and knowing what he means to you and to Dana, and thank you for sharing that. What's interesting, when you said that you felt like you're in the presence of Jesus, my friend used to work, she was a hospice nurse, and now I think she's a nurse for someone else, but she was a hospice nurse for a long time. So she was often with people who were getting ready to pass over.
Ooh.
And she explained to me that sometimes there would be a glow in their eyes, and it was almost as though they were looking at someone, and they called that visioning. And they were seeing angels, and they were seeing people who had gone before them. Now I realize that some people may not believe in all of this, and that's fine, to each his own, for sure. But she said she witnessed that a lot. And so she was in that energy, that presence that you felt, she was in that a lot with these people, and she got, of course, close and loved a lot of her patients, that's what happens. You get connected. They say don't, but yet if a good nurse really kind of does. So you got to experience that with someone who was so special to you and to Dana, and that's such a gift in its own way. I mean, what a precious moment for you, and to think that you were there. Wow. And he knew it. He knew you were there. All of that. There's just so much beauty in it.
Yeah. This is one of the things that when we got back from Guatemala the first year, and I would say the second year too, and I'll say it again probably for the third year of this, whatever.
Because we keep going.
But there's something about the full-on giving and the full-on receiving without obstruction. So Skip felt like he was receiving without any of the, oh, that's okay, or no, don't mean that, or
Right.
making jokes to cover it up, it was like there was nothing in the way
Just
of the
drinking
love.
it in.
So it all came in, and because it all came in, he was getting love and he was beaming love. It's like truly like what your MO. He was giving. It was like he was receiving and giving fully, like without all of the normal things that kind of clutter up the space. And in Guatemala, I remember it's almost like because we knew we were going to be there for just a pocket of time when we built these houses for these people living in the slum. It was like we were just there to give. We didn't need anything back from them. So it was like clear, defined boundaries. It's like we were going, and did you say thank you? And are you, it was kind of like, all we cared about was giving. So our marching orders were clear. We're giving. And because of that clarity, I think there was just this like freight train of energy that could move through unencumbered. And then when the receiving happened, I felt like the love that got showered back on us was so massive. It was like a tsunami that we couldn't fight it. It was like full on receiving. And wow, the light's doing this weird thing on my face. I feel like I'm becoming a robot. I'm going to set this up. How's that? Is that natural?
That's good. Well, I mean, you look a little tilted, but that's all right. The light looks good.
Maybe this is a no must go moment. Wow, I feel like Andy Warhol or something.
Oh, I love Andy Warhol. Well, not him personally, but I like. There's a cologne. There's a perfume. It's an Andy Warhol. It's. And that's the smell. It's Andy Warhol. It's a Bond, one of the Bond perfumes.
Oh wow!
Yes,
sounds very fancy.
Yes, it really is. It is, and it's Andy Warhol, and it's so great. It smells so good. But no,
maybe as we wrap up, because I'm only becoming more metallic as it seems. Like it's like I'm going from being the Velveteen Rabbit to being more of like the fake rabbit. I don't know. Let's ask our viewers and listeners what they are going to keep in place, not add new to their plate, but what's your New Year's resolution?
Yeah, what's that?
Keep. My hunch is that if you identify enough of the things that you're going to keep, then you kind of crowd out the space where the things that you want to let go of, they kind of fall off. And the new good things kind of will manifest because your vibration's high, because you're doing things that aren't a stretch for you in that you feel like you have to attain something in order to be good. It's like you realize how good you already are, how great your life already is. And then it can only get better from there in such an organic way. So what are you going to keep? What are you going to keep?
That is wonderful, Kel. Well, I think you know what? It's time. You're platinum.
Namaste. But let's make sure people know to go to Spiritual Girls in a Material World Facebook page and like this, share this, and tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're wearing. Tell us what your revolution for the New Year's resolution is going to be, and say that 25 times fast while drinking. Right?
Do that.
That would be a good drinking game for the holiday.
Yeah.
And go to Nancy's Facebook page and check her out at A to Z with Meryl and me. And you'll have to find out why her name is Nancy and the name Meryl is in there. You'll figure it out once you get there. And my Facebook page is Kelly Sullivan Walden, Dr. Dream, Dr. spelled all the way out. And we've got all kinds of great things going on our own personal websites. Nancy's is nancytelzero.com. Mine's kellysullivanwalden.com. Join me this year in Peru and also in Costa Rica if you want to do that. That's all I got to say. Happy New Year. Happy New You. Actually, happy just plain old you.
Happy.
Happy. So namaste and namasko. Have a happy New Year.